My name is Prerit and I work for MSc department here at TNS UK. I'll talk about analyzing a brand's Facebook page. By the way, you can access these slides later on, hence, or it's like if you later on feel free to mail me any queries. I'll be quick. I won't go into the technical details. So it's like so that I can cater to as many people as possible. It will be simple. Hold on. Can I? Yep. I come from basically a technical background, so although it's like now I work in marketing analytics, I'm still in touch with the technology world. For some time now, like for almost an year now, I was seeing a lot of large number of visualizations around network mapping, especially in the technology literature like the IEEE and all that kind of stuff. And so I tried to extract my own personal Facebook network and created the graph which is shown here. This is basically the interlinkages between my friends. So all these dots that you are seeing are basically my friends and how they are linked with each other. When I did this experiment, I realized that just like a just like me, I am a kind of page on the Facebook. So it's like using that same fundamental, I can extract information from brand pages, the publicly available brand pages, and analyze them using these techniques, the network analytics, whatever you call it, network mapping and all that stuff. But often I feel that network analytics is all about only the networks. They don't go into the understanding of the actual conversations between the textual context and all. So it's like I merged both the network analytics and the text analytics and applied it on a brand page to create what I'm showing you right now. I'll be showing you right now. I showed this concept to one of the board members here in TNS UK, and he told me to do a sample case study for McDonald's. What you're seeing here is that sample case study. Okay. Before I start, please note that every brand and Facebook page is different. So the following slides that you will see are more specific to McDonald's, and it's like this is just a kind of sample analysis. There might be some changes if you come later on with some request regarding your brand. There can be some changes, some additions, some reductions from what you are seeing now. So how did I do it? Okay. First, I extracted data from public Facebook page, all the posts, all the updates which a brand has posted. So it's like McDonald's might have said we are coming up with this fantastic burger kind of thing. So all those posts and all the corresponding interactions on that post. So people comment on that post, like it, share it, etc., etc. All that data was extracted, and there are a couple of commercial and academic tools for such extraction, and all have pros and cons. I won't go into the tools at this moment. For this study, I collected the last 100 updates from McDonald's UK, which had around 159,121 anonymized interaction. When I say anonymized interaction, meaning I know what people have said on the brand page, but I don't know those people. So it's like I don't go into some of the other problems that can come up. And I know whether they are male or female, but I don't know exactly where they come from. And so it's basically anonymized data. And moving on, this data is quite messy and dirty. If you just simply extract it, it's like it does not make any sense. And it needs to be transformed through like 3 or 4 phases, and depending on the data, the size of data, you can use either SPSS, Excel, Access, or SQL depending on your size of data. And this data, this transformed data, was then taken into network mapping and text mining. For network mapping, generally I use Gephi, and for text mining I use SPSS Modeler. Okay. As a starting point, it's always important to study the basic descriptors which are shown here, basically like the page statistics, the demographic of fans, language spoken, number of likes, comments, etc. well, it's like one of the interesting thing when I was working on this was came out was that ladies are generally more of a kind of passive interactor. So it's like they will like and share, but they won't comment on anything. Or it's like the proportionally they are like they don't comment much, while male are like shout and means like extremities of opinions are expressed by male, and they are very vocal. Now, means I'm not sure if ladies will agree with me, but let's not go into that. Now, I'm not sure why this page is not coming up, but I'm here talking about top engaging post, and when I was looking at the basic statistics, I found that only looking at the top liked post or top commented post was not giving a comprehensive view of interaction. So I created something of my own, which is called engagement index, which I call an engagement index. It's basically a kind of combined weighted score on post like and comments for each post. So, for example, uh, Penny, can you see the words on it?
No, I can't at the moment. No. Do you want me to
Okay.
take back
No, no,
the
that's
right?
fine. Means there might be some conversion problem on that. No, okay, okay, that's fine. So it's like there was a post on, say, gherkins. Gherkins is a kind of vegetables which are used in McDonald's burgers, and it's like people were like McDonald's had said, okay, we will remove these gherkins, and it was a kind of April Fool post kind of thing. So on that post, how many people have commented on it, shared it, liked it, and it's like even when you are sharing, liking, there are different kinds of sharing and liking when you look at Facebook. All that combined together and given a proper weightage based on some of the social media literature that I looked at, I created an index which showed that how much engaging was that post. And this is basically it's basically not showing the table, but it was showing the most engaging post depending on these. It was also showing the categorization of the post. Categorization is basically there are like hundreds of thousands of posts that you can look on a Facebook page, but it's like you're not going to read every one of them. So it's like from a holistic point of view, I converted into something which I called a theme, which is in essence the categorization of the post. What in gist, what is it talking about? That was also done for every post. I'm sorry it's not coming up here. Yeah. This is a kind of time analysis, kind of, which is basically showing the importance of timing on post and the possible levels of interaction. If you look at the McDonald's Facebook page was showing that there is a lot of interaction before and after the lunchtime, or it's like around the break time, the afternoon break time. It was showing up, and I mean, one of the things that was coming up for me was that time is very very important, and when you post it can have a major impact on how people are interacting with that post. Something which I also found in one of my previous research papers that I did for SOMAR in 2011, the timing is very important. And this kind of analysis, this simple descriptive can help us in better planning of communications on Facebook. Means one interesting thing that I was looking at for one of the clients in India, and it's the alcohol brand. And the thing is, Indians generally browse during the daytime because like the office internet is much more faster than the the house internet. But if you look at the alcohol category Facebook pages, generally people tend to in India used to look at only the at the night time, because there are like the social implication that it's like this is a drunkard, etc., etc. So it was a simple interesting that people were not interacting during the daytime but specifically during night time. So the posts which were posted in the later part of the day got more interaction. This is basically the entire Facebook brand page of McDonald's represented in one single graph. So if you look at this graph, it is like yellow ones are like the post, so whatever McDonald has said. Red dots are the people who are interacting with that post. So bigger the size of the yellow circle, larger the number of people who have interacted with that update, Facebook update. This graph is more of a kind of starting point and gives a quick comparative overview of the top updates that have attracted the highest number of commenters, likers, sharers, etc. If you look in the middle are the ones, the posts which attract the regular commenters. So it's like, when I say regular commenters, it's like often people just like a Facebook page and never ever go back to it. But it's like there are some people who are like very like, means always on hunt for what is like the next coming up thing on the Facebook page. They are very interactive, and the ones in the middles are generally the ones which are like the very interactive kind of guys, which respond to all your communication, and the ones which just like they like it once but they don't interact kind of thing. Those are like generally at the sides of the graph. Now it's easier to say, okay fine, this post or update got the highest number of engagement, but why did it actually got the highest interaction? What was something special in that communication by the brand that actually attracted more people to talk about it or say about it kind of thing? For that you need to individually study the post. Here what you are seeing is basically a kind of such post, which was again the gherkin that I was talking about. And here, apart from the basic statistics, which is like the comments, likes, etc., I also did a specific textual analytics study for that post. It's very important. Like why I did it, I'll explain to you in a second. So every post has a specific message, and the comments or the interaction is very much with respect to that post. So one post might be like ironical, and so the comments are in accordance with that irony. If you look from a holistic point of view, from a textual analytics point of view, it will show you that oh, these are all negative comments. But if you look at with context to that post, it will show that no, it's a positive comment kind of. So it's like, it's very I generally do that for every highly engaging post that I studied specifically via textual analytics, specifically with respect to that post. And this is what you are seeing here, what are like the positive tones, negative tones. I'll come to the positive and negative tones in a bit, but it's showing like how many people have positively said something about McDonald's, and what is the total aggregated of that, and the negativity around that. I'm not going into details of what was the positive said about it and the negative, because those are like different types also in the positives and negatives. This is quite a colorful picture, and this is a kind of segmentation, a kind of clustering. So it's like if you have looked at normal segmentation studies, those are like generally clustering people, while here the posts by McDonald's are being segmented or clustered into different groups. So it's like I've created groups of updates, groups of communications by McDonald's. So it's like I've grouped because like these are like 100 updates, communications by like McDonald's. I cannot. It means I just grouped them into a kind of logical sense, kind of. And how I did this was something called a clustering technique called Chinese whispers. I won't go into that. But what is coming out here is basically I wanted to look at communications which were different, which attracted newer crowd, newer fans to interact with your brand. So it's like if you look at the ones at the left side, which is a gherkin free zone, apart from the usual interactors which interacted with the McDonald's page, there were all a new number of people who got interested in what McDonald's was saying, and hence they interacted with it. So it's like I wanted to segregate such kind of communications, and that's why I use this technique. So it's like the pink ones, the ones in the middle, are the ones which attract regular guys, and the other colored, so it's like the blue, purple, red, etc., are the ones which attracted newer interactors. And this thing, it basically helps us in understanding like which post cater to like diversity of interest. So it's like these posts were something different, and they cater to the interest of the guys which generally don't talk about you, or it's like talk to you kind of thing. It also helps us in understanding diversity of interests of the people, like what attracts them and what is the diversity in them. And yep. This is a kind of thematic occurrence. So the previous analysis that you saw was more about the numerical aspect of communication. So while these, now what will follow is more of a kind of textual analysis kind of. So here, conversations on all the McDonald's Facebook pages, well, all the conversations on Facebook page are mined, and then the major themes coming out of it are plotted here based on their occurrence. So if you look at it, if you look at, yes, certainly McDonald's being a food brand, there's no surprise that food appears as the top theme. But the other themes that are coming up are like family, which shows that McDonald's family branding is working, at least I guess. And then there are people are talking about like the taste in the beverage, food additives, vegetables, menu, etc. And then there are also themes around the horse meat. Now there was a big controversy around horse meat in the UK some time back, and this is coming across by what people are saying. And also the advertising campaigns like the Monopoly and the American sandwiches are being reflected, means that people are talking about it. Now when I talk about the themes, some critics say, you know what, brands have planted an idea into the minds of the fans, and that's why they are talking it. Yes, that is true that McDonald's initiated a conversation, but the magnitude of response was not something which McDonald's manipulated. Well, it's like if they're honest, but so the magnitude of response show the interest of fans in relation to that post. So it's like if they are not interested, they would not respond. And I've seen in a lot of posts, McDonald's had put some very jazzy things, and people didn't show any interest, and that was coming up across. And yep. Often, in fact, that was an interesting thing that fans can diverge from the post. So McDonald's might have said something, you know what, we will give you £1 million or whatever if you play this game, and fans were not interested. They took a tangential side and started talking about horse meat. So I mean, in this kind of and the thematic occurrence is helping us to understand the topics that concern, liked, and raise expectations of fans, insights which is otherwise hidden between like those thousands of textual comments that you see on social media. And these themes can be used for like devising better communication strategy around the brand. I guess right now McDonald's has introduced one more ad on UK beef or something like that. I saw it some days back. Okay. Now delving further into the food theme, now certainly McDonald's being a food brand, certainly people talk about specific things about the food, and certainly it's related highly with burger, which is reflected here. But there are smaller topics also related to food which people are talking about, like the milkshake, the cheese, chicken, meat products, certainly horse meat again there. And once you have this kind of picture in mind, then you can delve into it and see, okay, fine, about milkshake. What are they specifically talking about milkshake? And it gives a kind of roadmap of how you want to, what you want to specifically look into. I guess, Fanny, I'm run out of time. I'll just take 5 more minutes.
That's fine, Nikki, no problem.
Okay. This is more of a kind of inter-thematic. So what you are seeing were more of a kind of themes. Now it's inter-theme. How are the themes interacting with each other? Often people talk about certain aspects together. So burger is spoken in conjunction with cheese a lot of times, and a large number of people consider burger and cheese together. Say for example, I mean here it was also coming up, and by the way, higher the occurrence, stronger the relation between two aspects. Such analysis can help us in understanding perceived relation between different aspects in context to that brand, allowing us to make a kind of judged decision about the impact of making changes to those closely related entities. One of the suggestions that came up was clients can also use such linkages to brainstorm new products or make changes to the existing one. Such linkages can also be used by Quell for some of their deep dive kind of stuff. Okay, this is something of a tonality mapping. I said about tones a few minutes back. I will talk in detail about this right now. Personally, that's my own personal belief. Some may not agree with me, but somehow I don't believe in the simple sentimentality scores, which is a kind of oversimplification of your emotions, your opinion. And the thing is, see, like generally what text analytics, most people or the public softwares do, is basically if you have a like a kind of sentence. There are complicated things also that people do, but generally what they do is like, I love iPhone. So love and iPhone, it's a positive. Give us number of like 5, 6, whatever. I hate iPhone, so -5 kind of thing. But the thing is, often our communications are not that like mathematical or rudimentary kind of thing. But in reality, total sentences are like, I love iPhone because it has an awesome screen. It has blah 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 kind of thing. So it's like the positivity can have different meanings. It can the sentence structure matters, and again the positivity can have different ways of being positive. So this positivity is more about functioning of a product and all, and this is what I'm trying to get through this tonality mapping. So it's like I'm looking at the entire their meaning. Now certainly I'm not perfect on this, but what are they making sense of it? What's the essence of it? And if it is positive, what is it about the positive? Is it about the functioning? Is it about some well, not advertising, but about the communication? What is the positivity about? And this is what this is showing about. So it's like I've shown, okay, fine. If they like burger, certainly they are liked, but it's like positivity up to what sense? Is it like liked only or excellent, or if they are talking about burger, what is the positive tone to it? And this is what is shown here. This kind of analysis basically kind of shows the direction of opinion about different aspects of the brand, and also shows the strength of the opinion. And lastly, these are kind of snippets of chatter that I gathered. In very McDonald's had a very high amount of interaction on their brand page. In such cases, fans also use your brand page to talk about other brands which you are seeing here. So people have talked about Subway, KFC, Nando's, Burger King, etc., etc. People also talk about their expectations from your brand, and sometimes they relate a personal event with the brand. So I was looking at an alcohol brand for India, and someone said, "Oh, I remember this alcohol because I used to sit with my father who is no more, and I remember those days," and etc., etc. And you can extract such conversations, that what is the hidden meaning which people associate with your brand. Yeah. And lastly, finally, conclusion. Mm, this technique can help you understand your fans, means your brand's fan, their likes, dislikes, and diversity in their preferences. You can filter topics around brand, um, what concerns or attracts fans the most. You can track campaigns and also see the impact of offline communication on social media and via social media, which can help you devise better communication strategies, not only on Facebook, but also learning from different Facebook pages can go beyond. Lastly, you can decipher perceptions and linkages with and between their products and product features, which can help you understand purchase decisions. And lastly, you can mine ideas for product development. You can also see, in certain cases, impact of competition on the client's brand. That's it. Thank you.
Well, Spirit, thank you very much for this fascinating presentation this afternoon. And